It's time to cook with Susan Beck. Well, I was trying to figure out what recipe I might like to record this weekend when I noticed some bananas on the counter that were starting to look pretty bad. So a couple days ago, I threw them into the fridge and left them there because I decided I was going to make banana bars. Now, anytime you want to make banana bread, banana bars, banana muffins, the best way to make that is with these bananas that have pretty much gone almost completely black. These can also be thrown in the freezer at this point when you start to see them get pretty mushy, and they will really turn black in your freezer, but then you can just set them on the counter to thaw enough that you can mash them and use them whenever it is convenient to make one of those types of items. If you like banana nut muffins, I have a great recipe I posted a while ago, and consider subscribing if you'd like to get more of these great recipes. All right, we're going to use 2 bananas today, so I'm just going to peel them out of there. And this one's still fairly whole. I have to say, sometimes when I get them out of the freezer, they're almost mush, but that's okay. They're easier to mash. A nice fresh banana, like you'd like to eat, doesn't mash so well. So I'm just going to set it on this plate, and I'm going to use a fork and mash it up like I might mash a potato, like a baked potato on my plate. The mixer will do the rest to incorporate that with our other ingredients today. So there we have 2 mashed bananas. Don't worry if they look a little brown in spots. You'll never notice it when you eat these banana bars. In addition to our 2 mashed bananas, we will be using 1 cup of sugar, 2 eggs, 1/3 cup of oil. I have vegetable oil today, but canola oil or something else would work just fine. 1 cup of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 1/2 teaspoon each of cinnamon and baking soda. These other 2 bananas are going to go into my freezer for another recipe. We'll start by mixing together our sugar and our oil, our mashed up bananas, and our 2 eggs. You could easily stir this recipe by hand if you don't have a mixer, or a hand mixer would be great too. Today I'll use my KitchenAide again. And I'll break each egg into a bowl just to be sure that I don't get any shells. Always a good, safe way to do it rather than having to try to dig shells out of everything in the bowl. All right, using our paddle attachment, we will mix those 4 ingredients. Simply add a teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. Along with that, 1 cup of flour. I'm just going to slowly add that so that the flour doesn't go flying all over the place as I turn my mixer on. Overbeat this. Just like with any quick bread recipe or muffin recipe, you want to be cautious of not overbeating anything. So we're just going to take it off of there and do just a little bit more stirring by hand. And I see a little bit of flour that's maybe not completely mixed in, and a little bit of cinnamon there, so just kind of fold it around. And there is our batter for our banana bars. Our banana bars are going to cook in a 350-degree oven that has been preheating. It's always a good idea to preheat your oven before you begin your recipe. Then I am going to spray a 9x13-inch pan for our bars. Now, as with all good like pumpkin bars and banana bars, we are going to make a cream cheese frosting to go on top of this after it bakes and it cools. All right, just a little more to get out of there. I never like to waste the batter. And we'll just spread it around so that it's in all the corners. And there we have our banana bars. Okay, our cream cheese frosting will be next, and while these are baking, I'm going to want to set my butter or margarine, whichever you choose, and my 3 ounces of cream cheese onto the counter so that those begin to soften and are easier to beat together to put onto our cooled banana bars. The banana bars will bake for 25 to 30 minutes in this 350-degree oven. We will check with a toothpick to see if they are done after 25 minutes. In the meantime, we have our 1/3 cup margarine, or butter if you prefer, and 3 ounces of cream cheese softening on the counter. We will also use a teaspoon of vanilla and 2 cups of powdered sugar to make our cream cheese frosting that we will put on our cooled banana bars. We'll probably want to let those banana bars cool for 1 hour before trying to frost. I'm going to stick a toothpick into the center of the banana bars, and when I pull it out, it is completely clean. That means it is ready to come out of the oven and sit and cool. Now it's time to make our cream cheese frosting. We're going to put in that 3 ounces of cream cheese, a little less than half of a brick of cream cheese. You have 5 1/3 tablespoons of margarine. You can use butter, as I said, if you prefer. That is equal to 1/3 cup. Then we're going to put in a teaspoon of vanilla and 2 cups of powdered sugar that I have measured out already here. I'm going to use the same paddle attachment. We'll just mix that until it's nice and smooth. First it appears as if it won't really mix together and it's going to be crumbly, but if you just keep beating, it does become a nice smooth frosting. This paddle beater a little bit and get all that cream cheese frosting saved. We're going to be putting this onto our cooled cake. The reason for putting this on our cooled cake is if we don't, we'll end up kind of lifting up the top of it as we spread our frosting around. There's our cream cheese frosting with 4 simple ingredients whipped together. And we'll just spread that around in a thin layer on top of these golden banana bars. That last corner. Let's give these banana bars a taste. We'll cut here and take out a corner one. Well, here's our beautiful banana bars. Just a nice light bar with a cake-like texture. And the cream cheese frosting adds a nice sweetness. And it's just a fantastic way to use up those bananas that don't look so great on your counter. Enjoy this and other recipes at Time to Cook with Susan Beck, and consider subscribing to my YouTube channel for many delicious recipes and videos.